Okay, so let's buy this one. Where is she? Okay, here he is. Okay, great. This weapon. Let's get this. Yes! Woo! Yes, there he is.
どうかなこの水着
Yes,
似合ってるかな
it's worth it enough. Oh, I'm sorry. Ay! Oh shoot! I'm sorry. Sorry for showing off. What's up, guys? And today I'm going to guide you for those special weapons that are worth enough to slot onto your reads. Specifically for weapons you need to use for farming, experience, and for competition. So as of now, I am just pretty sure that you know what kind of player I am. Like for example, I am just like rank 184, which is pretty much a high tier. But I'm going to help and teach you even for beginners, especially with high-end players. So anyway, let's start with those special weapons. So as you can see in the party, at least there is a 1 or 2 special weapons. If you just notice this one, this is called Sword of Bahamut Koda. It's part of the Bahamut Weapons that has a special skills. These skills are special enough to call this weapon special, just because of the find that it's different from a common elemental skills that are useful for only the element, while this one it applies for all elements. So let's start with each weapon one by one. So let's start with the first basic for the first time to get the weapon. As you know, all players, even beginners, should get the particular weapon, and that is Bahamut Weapons. These weapons that help you to journey you if you want and if you need to have a power and survivability. For example, we go here and you have to get this rusted weapons. Let's go find those rusted weapons usually found in this Penton shop. Usually the updated weapons are listed there. So this is the section where a new updated weapons were being on sale. So I guess that's all for this. You can also get from special quests when battling a few hollows, and also when doing raid for Bahamut, Proto Bahamut. So this is just ingredient to raise for Bahamut Weapon. So when you do this, it requires just a scary ingredients to gather. But once you're done, you have to get next step to Nova Weapons. And lastly, we go to Coda Weapons. As of now, the weapon before it is in Coda mode. But anyway, the general point is that even high tier players use that one. You only do that only when you are some sort of format where your summons are Magna, and they are for example, we go for this one. This summon, as you can see, is part of Omega series, and its description is it boosts 2 hero skills. What are hero skills? If you notice the skills that are or the icon Omega, it means it's clearly a different skill that is away from any normal skills that use, like for example this one, Light Smite. It's a normal skill, while this one, Horus Majesty, is an Omega skill. So it makes sense that this skill, this special skill, only works for only normal skills, so in which it does not work with the normal skills. Unlike the following setup, where this setup works for this particular summon, and this summon is a primal summon. It's part of Optimus series, where it works on a different skill. And as you can see, there is no Bahamut Weapon. So in this way, most players will only get the following weapons that are recommended: the sword Bahamut, the dagger, the axe, probably the axe, and some Harvins like pistol, and some other suggested weapons that goes with races. The rest does not benefit for you, because when you notice this one there, it only works and plays with HP, double attack, and etc. It does not go that way. Now we move to the next one. So the next one will be class champion weapons. So this one, if you redeem it there, and as you can see, to redeem it, you must get these following ingredients. And I'm supposed for this kind of ingredient, you can get it in a shop and trade it there, and you will get this one. For example, this weapon is special enough to only each class that has a different flavor description according to that, and each kind of weapon has a feature special skill that only works for the particular class, and it stocks only 3. The rest you have to find a way to uncap it. Like for example, some particular weapon can have a different choice, a different skill. Like for example, Karanus Nyx, his skills are just for boost to either blast and boost to focus. that is according to specific skills the job has. It's some weapons only useful for some class that are good for, like for example in the party. When you select the classes, you may notice that most high tier players are ending up these classes, but not all the classes are extremely great. Some useful classes benefits from this one, and they benefit from a high level class weapon that works for each class. So I guess that's for the class weapons, champion weapons. Next, we have seraphic weapons. What are the seraphic weapons? These weapons works for only each element, and one particular special weapons are this one. In this kind of special skill, it only works for empowerment there, and that is the best special weapon for beginners, because you just directly open to see the content and you receive this kind of weapon. Our starter, you will only get SR rarity. So right now I only have this maximum level or upgrade to see this form, and that is all for the seraphic weapons. In the future, we will have additional 2 new weapons that are meant for dark and light. Next, there are some weapons that you can find here, but even the weapons like elemental weapons, like for example revenant weapons, are just normal weapons just to get to characters. Center weapons just to upgrade other skills that are meant from the events. And lastly, we have Ultima weapons. These Ultima weapons that are used for only the kind of weapon proficiency that you use it. As of now, I only have these particular weapons on hand. For example, what I'm trying to achieve is I want to make this katana to upgrade it there into this form, Atma Spear. Most people turn on because of the skill, and the skill is only for the spear users with attack, with max HP and multi-attack rate, and that's because of this special skill. You only do this is to buy more hefty ingredients that you have to get, and it's not a beginner friendly to have on, because most of the time it is only above level 100, because that's how hard the normal raid is. We call them ultimate Bahamut raid, and to do that one, you're gonna end up gathering these ingredients, just because the attentions is pretty much big enough. It takes time to make it just to upgrade more. Like for example, we go to the blade, and you see this one in order to forge it, and that's quite expensive to get it. Next, we have some particular weapon that the old players used before, and that is Cosmos. These Cosmos have a different set of roles. If you notice that we have a same weapon and with a different role, that's because of this kind of section contains special skills where it works differently. For example, if your character is attacker, you're gonna end up having this one, boost to attack allies, charge attack damage, and along with this one relies solely with equipped swords. The one I have before in the party, like this one, it's full of swords and different weapon. It's because this weapon can only apply only if there are the same weapon, or else it will not benefit for the rest of the characters for that one, and it must be the sword user. And of course, even the attacker benefits, but right now what I'm trying to benefit is only for balanced allies. It used for double attack rate there, and which is good for this one, while the rest there does not benefit there. And I think that's the choice for setups there. Most commonly, you can use these swords for light element, specifically the setup for Magda Grid, and others like gun weapon used on commonly on wind grid with Tiamat summon, and the rest, I believe they have a different situation, but only two weapons that are used on, such as sword and gun. That's because of that. The rest, it's not enough to get, and because they have a very different weapons, they don't have similar weapons that contains a strong skills that works with this one. So I think that's acceptable. So I think that's all for the Cosmos weapons. The rest is still normal weapons, but what we find out is the Hollowsky Weapons. These weapons are very specific niche that can obtain from a high level raid. So these weapons are not meant for beginners. This is only meant for particularly high-end players, just because of this one. Although this one is very high-end skills, in this description it benefits both weapon proficiencies effects for those characters that are considered with two, at least one, but one of proficiency will benefit from this particular weapon. And later on, you'll find out that there is a latent damage coming from that particular skill when you uncap it. That's because you're gonna end up a very strong output with latent damage from this one, just because of this one. This one is different from Cosmos, and and the benefit is very high. But actually, from what I have seen, this section is just only the niche there. It's a pretty niche that uh, perform well for a high level players that can apply for this one, and you can work with only with proficient characters that goes along with this particular weapon. So far, we have these special weapons. Let's check more. So another fact that there are other special weapons that we have tackled with. So let's start with this one. So this kind of weapon is used for experience for the characters. So for example, if you notice this one, you may find out that this weapon is for increase in experience, meant for these characters. So next one is we have this kind of particular weapon that boosts for item drop. So this one will get a rare item that have a chance to get it, useful for raids and as well as the quest if you need one. Next is Florenberg. It used to increase in honors and is used for events that needs to increase in honors. This time, before it was very nice to slot in, but the thing is it was backlash because this weapon is not gained on competitive event such as guild wars that are not good for this kind of setup. So hence we go for only the events, and my perception is that it's not a very good weapon to put it there. So if you happen to have this weapon as a beginner, and it will be best to use it only when you cannot reach the honor threshold to get the item you want to get. Like for example, in this event, it asks for more honors. So if you want to reach this one, you gotta use this one. But for rest, high ends don't do that because we already do it easily. You only use this one only when you have a hard time reaching this one. So next we have this Triton, and this Triton is different from the harp. This time it used to boost in rank experience. As you can see, I'm rank 184 and it is very difficult to experience, so I think this is worth enough to slot it there just to increase more rank experience. Next, this one, Shepsham Burner, also increase in item drop just like this one, but the only difference is you only do this when you main hand this one. This is the main hand and you're gonna do it there. And my thought is that it's a little bit worth it, but it's a different playstyle and it doesn't have a normal skill. It's just only a special skill just to boost on the item drop rate. This is how it looks like. So just only the boost to item drop rate when you in the quest. Okay, next we have this kind of weapon. It's actually an event weapon that is very good to get on. Also, it has a normal skill with a kind of skill that are very useful to get. There is a skill that you can get a candy. What is this candy all about? This candy can let the character to increase experience, and is very beneficial to those particular characters who needs to level up until the cap level. I think this is worth enough to use this weapon if you want to grab the candies and experience more levels to grow up. It's very good. Now next is, I guess that's all for special weapons. You want to get some weapons there, so I guess this is all the weapons you want to get. So for special weapons are very good to help you to further journey to fight against the bosses. That benefits with survivability, and of course more damage. So when you first begin your journey there, you're gonna end up having this kind of special weapons that are enough to do with. Some special weapons that also benefit for testing and experiment in order to enjoy it there, just like this one setup there. I think that setup is closely for high damage there, just to know that the experiment is actually a very great and a successful to your own testing. But at the end, it's just that you use it for to stay alive, not to fail again, and you can win as much as the raids there, like quest and raids there. So I guess that's all that I can help you. At least I could guide in this particular special weapons. And thank you for watching my video, and I apologize for the way I guiding you in such a way. It's just only perceptions and what to use on these particular weapons, and how it is slotted on the each grid. So I guess that's all. Also, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.